morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chicago Board of Elections regular board meeting of October 13th, 2020. If at any time during this call you need assistance, please press *0 for the operator. This call is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to Marisel Hernandez, Chair of the Chicago Board of Elections. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I will call to order the Board of Election Commissioners regular board meeting. My name is Marisel Hernandez, and William Kresse, are you there? Mr. Kresse? Commissioner Kresse? Commissioner Swain, are you there?
Commissioner Swain, present.
Okay, I think we lost Commissioner Kresse because he was on just a few seconds ago, and he should get back in. But we nevertheless will move forward with the consideration of the agenda. Are there any proposed changes or recommendations for change? If not, we'll proceed with the approval of the regular board meeting minutes of May 12th, 2020. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved by Commissioner Swain.
I will second. All those in favor, please state aye.
Commissioner Swain votes aye.
Commissioner Hernandez votes aye. Next on the report is on the agenda is the Executive Director's report. Mr. Goff.
Thank you, board members. Just to give you some updates. First of all, Office of Emergency Management and Communications for the City of Chicago. We are hosting a planning and preparedness around the general election for November 3rd. We are working on a workshop this Thursday, so I will be reporting on what the final outcomes of that will be. We're also working with the Department of Health. I would like to thank Ms. Walls for helping us out along with Adam and Jim Allen. We're working on a draft COVID-19 preventative plan with the City of Chicago. So we're working on that. Those are the two items. Third item for your information, we have 105 precinct vacancies right now. We're working on those. Hopefully we'll have those soon so we can send a mailing out to the households and let them know where their new polling place is. We've had a lot of refusals because of COVID. There are a lot of people that do not want to use us as polling places. A lot of private entities have pulled out. But we're working on that now. Hopefully we'll have a handle on it. We're meeting with the city and county about other locations to host this. So hopefully within the next week I have better news to report on. I've already discussed this with the board members individually, that the staff is working on this constantly. So we should be hopefully clear this up soon.
This is Commissioner Kresse, I'm back on.
Oh, okay, good. Thank you.
We're meeting with the Sheriff's Department. I have to say staff has done an excellent job with the voting out at the jail. We will start Saturday, October 17th and 18th, and then we'll continue on the 24th and 25th. But everything is planned is working right now. We're delivering the equipment, should have it all delivered on October 15th, the drop-off date. We'll set up on the 16th, and everything is going real well with the Sheriff's Department. The cooperation that we received is unbelievable. So we will be up and running this weekend. A couple of other items. I sent a draft with the Cook County CBA having attorneys out on election day. This is our election protection plan. We will have attorneys out. We're drafted up some items that I sent to the board members. Hopefully we'll come up with the final plan, but I think we're in real good shape. We have a lot of interest for attorneys that want to work with our agency. And I'm trying to make this brief because I have another meeting that I have to go to in a half hour. But that's all I have with my board members right now. Just to let you know that even though election time is coming up, we have a budget preparation meeting this Thursday with the city, and then we have one later on in November with the county on our county budget. But everything seems to be going full speed ahead. I'd like to let my board members know that the staff here is working constantly 7 days a week. Some are working 18, 19 hours already. We will get this election off. This is something that I've been here over 42 years. And in the year of COVID, we've never seen the problems that we're having right now, but we're fighting through it, and the staff is doing an unbelievable job. There are so many people that have done outstanding work. I don't want to name them all because, A, there's too many to be named, and I don't want to miss anybody. So after this election, I will do an entire write-up for the board members, but things are going real well. And I want to thank Charles for all the help. He's taken a lot of load off of me, and I think we're working very well together, and it looks like we're going to have a real good election. Right now, Charles will give you a report of where we're at with vote by mail and other items. Charles.
Thank you.
Good morning, Madam Chair and fellow commissioners. We have 13,630 active and assigned judges. 1,391 are party judges, 7,894 over the counter, 2,863 high school judges, 714 college, and 765 language judges. There's another 305 judges that we have to assign. We have 1,764 active and assigned standby, of the election coordinators, 89 on standby. We need to assign another 305 to have one election coordinator per precinct. Currently, we have a list of 1,496 waiting to be assigned. A total of 494,208 voters have requested vote by mail ballots. 101,797 ballots has been returned. We're currently sending out reminder emails to those who we mail ballots to return their ballots. As of yesterday, we voted 12,683 voters at our super site. The vote by mail department, they're processing 5,000 return ballots per hour. As Lance stated, tomorrow the 14th, early voting sites will open. We are staffing 26 libraries that will have ballot drop boxes. Our warehouse in preparation of the election day equipment is going on, and we'll begin shipping to polling places on Monday, October the 19th. Our files have closed for the first time, and we're printing poll sheets. Online registration is open until Sunday, October the 18th at midnight, and at that time, the file will close for the final time, and we will begin printing supplemental poll sheets. Currently, there's 8,300 online registrations to be processed, which will be done once the file has closed on the Sunday night. Outside of that, everything is moving better than expected. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay, next.
Question for Charles?
Yeah.
Charles, can you talk a little bit, or maybe this is a question for Adam too, can you, you guys are doing great work in terms of vote by mail that are coming back. Can you talk a little bit about the process or what happens if there's a question or a ballot gets rejected at any point in time? How people can cure that ballot? Can you speak to that a little bit so the record's clear?
Well, if a ballot is rejected, that voter is notified of that rejection. And then once they respond to the email, then it's rectified at that time.
Okay, so everybody that, for whatever reason, if there are not many ballots that are being rejected, but they are, we're not expected to be rejected, but they are, every voter will get a notice for the ability to cure, correct?
Yes, they will.
Presumably that the rejection is not because of being received late or postmarked late or something of that nature.
Correct.
Okay, great, thank you.
Commissioner Swain, this is Adam. If I may just clarify, there's the new legislation that's specifically for this November election has a little new procedure for any vote by mail ballots that are rejected based on the signature comparison or the lack of a signature. For those particular issues, if the voter just communicates in writing to us that they did indeed submit that ballot, then that cures the signature issue. For the other issues, a simple letter might not be good enough. If they're not duly registered, we would need to send bring in the evidence to prove their registration and so forth. But everybody does receive within 2 days a notice from the board whenever their ballot is rejected. That notice explains the reason for it and advises them as to what to do to cure the defect, if it's a curable defect.
And that notice, thanks Adam, and that notice is done via email and postal mail?
Correct. Email for those people we have email addresses for, but everybody gets it by regular mail.
Everyone gets it by regular mail. All right, great, thank you.
And I just want to note that, as an example, my mail ballot was accepted, but my husband's mail ballot was rejected due to a signature discrepancy, and he received the email. He followed the instructions on the email and sent in an email back stating, I'm the person who did send my ballot out, and you're supposed to provide your name, address, and voter ID number. And within 24 hours after that, he received an email stating his ballot had been accepted.
This is Commissioner Kresse. Adam, that procedure that they contact us with that information, and you say that's part of the new state legislation?
Correct. It's in Article 2B, Section 20. I don't have it in front of me at the moment. I don't remember the exact subparagraph, but yes, 2B 20.
And if you could send me a copy of that email or letter, I'd appreciate it. I'm happy to see, I think we're at like a 0.6% rejection. Is that mostly just unsigned, or is it like the chair's husband that it was a bad signature? Does anybody know?
Adam, I don't know the answer to the breakdown as to what things have been rejected. So I'm sorry.
Okay, but I think it says something about our Chicago voters that it's such a low rate of rejection.
It is. Now that number, of course, that number will increase when we get after 14 days. You know, there are many ballots that will be rejected for arriving too late or not being mailed on time, and we don't see that yet.
But the reports that we've been hearing from primary states is so many of it is just unsigned envelopes. So and it's good to see that the Chicago voters are at least signing their envelopes. Okay, thank you.
Adam, Commissioner Swain, just to follow up though, the comment that you made about having increases because of receiving late and because of being postmarked after the date, those numbers should go down significantly compared to previous elections because of the drop boxes, right?
Oh, they absolutely will. They absolutely will. It's just my only point is that as a just a matter of logistics and we can't receive anything too late yet. So we don't have any of those. in the system
Yeah,
yet.
yeah, but I just want to be clear that we don't expect a dramatic increase and because of late postmarks received too late, because we've given everyone the opportunity for drop boxes both at downtown, but also at the early voting site, and 26 libraries will have them. So there really shouldn't be an increase in either being late or past 14 days.
I completely agree with you. We also, the ballots were mailed out starting so early on September 24th, so we've already received so many back. And I think that unlike a primary, a lot of voters have their minds made up, so we're getting a great response already, and all of our rejection rates should be nice and low this year.
Okay.
Again, this is Commissioner Kresse. One more. Yeah, the rate should be low, but just the sheer numbers will be high because of the numbers going out. I assume, but that's the reason I asked is the listing of the drop boxes at the library. Has that been publicized and placed on our website yet?
That will be added today because those are opening up tomorrow.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay. Next is communications. Mr. Sedler?
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Let me go through and summarize the work that we've done here over the time period since we had the last board meeting. KIB has been working to execute on earned media, stakeholder engagement, digital media, and collateral development. Toolkit with flyers, posters, palm cards, social media graphics. We developed an interactive early voting sitemap, a plan your vote video, custom social graphics for 6 different voter awareness days and events, and a series of fact sheets and social graphics. We're also working with the Community Services Department to translate the collateral materials into Polish, Korean, Chinese, and Hindi to assist with their community outreach efforts. In the earned media category, we have been proactively pitching news stories, interviews, and events to build awareness of voting. We are also fielding the inbound earned media, but we have managed, staffed, and secured more than 80 interviews and media placements over the last several weeks. I know that everybody's reading the coverage, so I'm not going to obviously go through them all, but I would just call out a few things. That Board of Change press conference with the city secured more than 20 media placements, including the front page story in the Chicago Tribune, quoting the chairwoman with coverage on television and radio throughout the day. We helped set up a virtual roundtable with the Chicago Sun-Times. We facilitated and set up an interview at WTTW, as well as with Tribe, and Commissioner Swain was on WVON, and so those are just a few of the examples of the media placements. This week we're going to be continuing to work on the early voting across the city. We have a number of events that are already planned. On the stakeholder outreach, we have, as I said previously, we've reached out to more than 150 organizations, including them to participate and share, promote early voting opportunities with their constituents. To date, we have confirmation with 70 groups that have made commitments to share this content. They are sharing the material that we've developed. They are providing it to their constituents using social media, email, and posting on their websites. There are, the organizations really represent a cross-section of civic, community, and religious organizations around the city. As I had mentioned previously, we have been working to promote awareness around the 5 different awareness days that have happened. I'm not going to go through them all, but there have been those 5 since we met last, and we've used those as opportunities to raise awareness. In digital media, we are running English language and bilingual digital ads on social media, focusing on audiences in zip codes and wards where voter participation is below the citywide average. And we intend to have those kind of ads running through Election Day. So why don't I stop there, and happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Thank you. I just want to say that, Mr. Sedler, that the social media, that your company has done has been really good, and the outreach to the regular media has been very good as well. I think this is the first time we've had so much exposure, and at a much needed time when we want all the voters to come out and vote. If there aren't any further questions, we will proceed to strategic planning. Mr. Allen.
Good morning, Commissioners. I've been working closely with the Executive Director, Assistant Executive Director, the Chair, Translation Team, and extremely closely advising Kivett and other board managers and Hensley, mostly on media inquiries, coordination with the Office of Emergency Management and Communications, and performing website updates and generating data reports on various historical data related to early voting and vote by mail and how it compares to this year's. We've also kept up with the publication of legal notices, the mass mailing, which was timed to go out right with the opening of the 50 wards, early voting sites, that is hitting the post office today. We've also had outreach with organizations including the Federation of the Blind to advance information on the new voting system for blind voters. And lastly, I want to recognize Opal and Peter for providing some documents. I filed an application on behalf of the board, and we successfully received a $2.269 million grant from the Center for Civic Tech and Life that will help us cover various COVID-related expenses on a wide range of activities. And that's all I have for today.
Okay. We will then proceed to old business, infrastructure projects and changes in election administration, voting equipment. Any updates there?
Oh, we're deep into it right now. So.
Okay. And Mr. Goff, how about the electronic poll books?
Charles Holliday is working on that, and we're deep into that also.
Mr.
Last, a quick question. That's a
Yes.
quick question. It's related to voting. It's related but not, but one thing I forgot. Charles, Lance, can you talk a little bit about, I know we started collecting email addresses. I know we collect email addresses through people that are applying to vote by mail. We started collecting email addresses from those folks that are at early vote, and we plan to get them, all have the opportunity to collect them from folks who are voting. Can you talk a little bit about how that's been going?
Well, we have a new program on electronic poll books, and at our early voting site, we have a poster out there. Anybody wants to update their registration and their email address. It's not only for this election, but it's for future elections also, and that seems to be going well.
Okay. Is there any way we, at some point in time, not to add to the pile, but should we get a sense that from a percentage point of view or some numeric point of view, how successful that's been?
Well, right now we're only using one location. We're opening up all early votes starting tomorrow. So if you could give me a week, we can then see how that's working.
Sure, well, that's even better, actually, so we can find out what the efficacy is for the early vote location downtown. That would be real helpful to tell us how we need to make adjustments, and we need to make adjustments in our language and communication, going forward. So maybe we could, if we maybe can get a sense of that pretty quickly, that could help us, going forward as the open and wide.
Give us 2 days, so.
Sounds good, thank you.
Yes, and Commissioner Swain,
Commissioner-
that was a great idea of yours. Thank you. Commissioner Kresse?
Commissioner, yes, to Lance or Charles, whoever can answer this. I know,
Hello?
Were you able to update our signature online? Just.
well, there's a form online that you can send in.
Okay, that's, okay.
Yeah. Jim, do you know?
That is a registration form. Standard registration period is closed, but I don't know how many updates we got, so I'll leave it to Jim.
Yeah, voter registration department after the October 6th close of registration instructed me to take that down. I'm not sure how many Mr. Carley's department processed, but the key thing that was referenced earlier during the meeting was that we now have the ability to send out an email or a letter to voters. Additionally, one of the things that we did with the paper applications, so not only do we have the email for any online applications, but all the paper applications, we added language in there authorizing us to add that signature to the voter's registration for the purposes of comparison when the vote by mail application. So we're not just looking at the 20-year-old signature, we also have the 1-month-old signature.
Right. Okay. Very good. Thank you.
We will get additional data to you later on.
Okay. Mr. Goff,
Thank
if you have to leave, we certainly understand for your next meeting. The next item on the agenda is under new business, approval of an amendment to the board's professional services agreement for enhanced vote by mail website support and services with A&E Data Solutions LLC. Mr. Lasker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. The board did previously execute a contract with A&E Data Solutions, which has been doing the website management for the board for a number of years. For this November's election, because of the legislation that was passed and substantially increasing vote by mail and the reporting obligations, substantial more work was required from the website contractor to develop new systems and work with the vote by mail department on that. So we are requesting an amendment to the contract to increase by $20,000 the total compensation for this new and additional vote by mail support. And I would point out that because this is new and additional services that are required due to the change in legislation that expanded vote by mail because of the coronavirus, these expenses should be covered by the Federal CARES Act grant and will be reimbursed by the State Board of Elections after submission.
Thank you. Are there any questions? If not, is there a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the board's contract with A&E Data Solutions LLC, increasing the compensation for new and additional vote by mail website support and services from $26,000 to a total of $46,000 for the duration of the contract?
So moved by Commissioner Kresse.
Is there a second?
Second by Commissioner Swain.
It has been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye, Commissioner Kresse.
Commissioner Swain votes aye.
Okay, the ayes have it and the motion is approved. Thank you. We will now proceed with the legal report. Mr. Lasker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. First of all, the board was involved in the lawsuit of Renetta Greenleaf versus the board. It was a contest for the 17th Ward, filed in the wrong court and filed late. That case was dismissed on October 5th. And beyond that, I also just wanted to, I don't think we've really talked much about our election judge status, and I just want to inform you that as of late last week or mid last week, there was only one more ward that had vacancies. The vote by mail department has really done a great job. Not the vote by mail department, I'm sorry, the judges department has done a wonderful job getting those numbers up, and I'm feeling very good about that. We are still accepting applications for standbys and so forth, so but things are in good shape. We were very worried after this March that judges would be very hard to recruit, so I think that we really owe a great debt of gratitude to the community, people who have stepped up to make sure that we have enough to conduct this election in a good way. And it's been just a lot of meetings with the various departments, both within the board and around the city. Lots of coordination to make sure that we've got the support that we need. Nailing down polling places has been quite challenging, as you've heard, and we've been getting assistance from the schools, from the libraries, from the city, just to help us identify locations that can let us in. So it's been a lot of back and forth, developing policies under the new statutes, and I'm starting to feel like things are really falling into place. We are actively processing vote by mail ballots. The early voting starts citywide tomorrow, so I think it's getting to be we're in pretty good shape to have November 3rd come.
Great, thank you. If there are no questions, then we'll proceed with the agenda. We have no financial report today. We do have public comment, and so let's start out with that. It's just to remind our those persons who are speaking that we do have 5 minutes. There's a 5-minute limit.
Your first comment comes from Laura Chamberlain from Queenstown. Please go ahead.
Good morning.
Hi. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I wanted to let you know we did come down and observe the voter signature verification process, and it was really superb. We really want to thank you. The large screens made it really easy to see the signatures. We didn't have to stand right on top of the judges. We could social distance, and we thought that the whole process was really, really great. And we agreed with every single decision on the part of the judges. Most of them were for no signature, and the signatures that were not verified that we saw, it was a very small fraction of them, were, really off. It was really, we really came away thinking that it was a good process. I did want to ask you one question about that. We did not see that the new signatures on the vote by mail application were coming up. You could see a date on the voter signature where they had registered. You could see that date, and we didn't see the new one. So I wanted to ask when that was being applied. But the rejection rate was very, very small. So, and the majority that I observed were because of no signature at all. So we were really pleased about the process. And the second thing is, I don't know if you've heard, but the Guardian was reporting yesterday, there are kind of phony drop boxes that are appearing in California. They appeared in California, and there's a couple reports of a couple other places that are being put out. There were, like they looked like the regular drop boxes, and they were placed not in the places where the election division reported that there were going to be drop boxes. And apparently it's the GOP, the California GOP, in Fresno, LA, and Orange County, and of course they got a cease and desist. But I just wanted to notify you that that it's happening, and it's quite disturbing. So just to have you keep your eye out. But we would like to know when you are going to start applying the newer signatures into that process, or did we just not see it when we were observing the signature verification? Yeah.
I'm wondering whether that vote by mail application was done online, and if it was online, an online application, there wouldn't have been a signature.
Okay, got it.
So if only if there was a paper, right? If there was a paper application that was mailed to the board, then we would have a signature. But
Okay.
the vast
Yeah.
majority of applications have been online. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, and then
Okay,
as to
thank you very much.
the phony drop boxes, yes, we're well aware of it.
Okay, great.
I think we have higher standards here. We don't expect to see that happening, but we will be on alert. And if anything like that occurs.
Are the drop boxes that are going to be at the library, are they going to be inside the library as well?
Yes.
Or are they
Yes.
outside? Inside the library? Okay.
Inside the library. Okay?
Okay. Got it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. You're welcome. The next speaker?
The next comment is from Kia Sandler, a volunteer. Please go ahead.
Okay. Hello?
Hello, good morning, everybody. I was just calling in, so I have gone in with Scouts organization just to do like voter registration in county jail in the past, and planning to go back in this week as a poll watcher. And I just wanted some clarification as to, I know we said that there are about 3 divisions that are going to be like the actual like polling locations and where people will actually be filling out their ballots. And I just was wondering some clarification around how we're going to get the ballots out of the jail and counted.
Well, if I may, there are ballot scanners there, just like an early voting site. So they are fed into the scanner just like they would be at any early voting site, and then they're transferred from the early voting sites, in this case the jail, to the election board.
Okay, so it won't be any paper ballots.
Well, the touchscreen generates a paper ballot that lists all the selections that the voter made, and then that is the official record. That is what is fed into the scanner, whether you're using the Loop Super site, one of our 50 ward sites, or at the jail.
And this is Adam Lasker. I'd just like to remind anyone who wants to be a poll watcher for the in-person voting at the Cook County Jail that there are some additional requirements on the jail's website. So please be sure to go there and look for the section on poll watchers. They have, security protocols that obviously are quite different than other polling places. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
The next comment comes from Claire Tobin of Illinois Ballot Integrity. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having us again. Yes, so at Illinois Ballot Integrity, we also participated in poll watching on Thursday, the first day, for the verification of the mail-in ballot signatures. And we were also really, really impressed, and it went very smoothly, and it was very easy for us to observe the whole procedure. So we commend all the staff and everyone who made those arrangements possible. One question on the updated signatures that might be submitted by mail-in applications. When I questioned, if there was a signature that was not verified, and I asked the staff if we could see another signature, they said that the only one that they had in the system for verifying it was the original signature. So, maybe that's something that might be feasible to update or not, but in general, we thought the system worked very, very well. The other question that I have a concern about is with early voting starting on tomorrow. I think it would be really good to emphasize both in the media communications and also maybe via email to remind people that if they decide to vote early and not use their mail-in ballot, that they should bring the mail-in ballot with them and surrender it at the early voting site or on election day. And I think this will, forewarn people and avoid people having to vote provisional, and also a lot of, extra confusion. So I would really recommend that that is highlighted. Other than that, everything looks very good, and hopefully everything will run smoothly. And I empathize with all the workers who are working so hard, but we definitely appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next public comment comes from Don Olson, a resident. Please go ahead.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I have two questions. One is on an issue that I brought up several times, and Lance Scott commented on it, I think at the last meeting, or maybe it was the meeting before, but that was the transfer of the early voting ballots from the early voting sites, and also the drop box mail-in ballots from the early voting sites. I had said that I felt that that should be done by a Republican and a Democratic judge. And the last I heard, Lance Goff said that they were working on that. Do you know what the latest information on that is, and if that's all arranged for, that 2 election judges will transfer those ballots? That's my first question. And my second question is about have the early voting sites been instructed to give results tapes to poll watchers on election day? There was some confusion about that in the primary, so I want to make sure that that the election judges and the election coordinators at early voting sites know that they can give a results tape to poll watchers on election day. Those are my 2 questions.
Madam Chair, this is Adam. Would you like me to respond?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
So, Mr. Olson, good morning. This is Adam. In response to your first question, the logistics of having 2 judges is not feasible, particularly in the time of coronavirus. We don't feel comfortable asking people to get into a vehicle together. We're using licensed bonded couriers to transfer the ballots. There is no requirement under statute that it be done by judges. So we did not make that happen. For question number 2, the EV
Adam, can I interrupt you? You said licensed bonded couriers?
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay, so rather than having investigators transfer those, you're having licensed bonded couriers.
Charles, are you there? Am I correct on that?
Yes, and the investigators will be transporting as well. On these nights, we have ballots being picked up from 26 libraries and the 50 early voting sites, so there will be some transportation of ballots by investigators.
Okay. So investigators by themselves, not in 2s, but just by themselves? Because that's what I had originally complained about, that I felt that was inappropriate for an individual to be transferring ballots.
Well, it's not inappropriate under the law, and it is somewhat inappropriate to put 2 people inside a vehicle at this time with the coronavirus. Well, that's the way it's looking.
Okay, and what about my second question?
With the tapes, the early voting sites are going to post a copy of the tapes on a wall at the end of the night so that people can take whatever notes or photographs they would like to take.
But they're not going to supply tapes to poll? They won't actually supply physical tapes to poll watchers, though?
Just the one copy that can be photographed by any poll watcher who's got a smartphone or camera with them.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Adam, Commissioner Kresse with a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh, okay. As I understand it, the licensed bonded couriers will be, but they will be transporting a transfer case that will have a numbered seal on it that's sealed at the early voting site, and then will be delivered sealed to election headquarters, correct?
That is correct. We're using couriers for the early voting sites. We're using investigators for the vote by mail drop boxes. For both of those locations, the ballots will be sealed, as you said, with security seals in logbooks. Custody logbooks are filled out. And so, yes, each courier or investigator will receive a sealed transfer case and then deliver that down to the board downtown, and that seal is not broken until the board staff does that downtown. And,
right, and I'm sorry, and judges of election who would be at early voting would be observing and filling the transfer cases and then sealing them. Is that correct?
That's correct. With the vote by mail drop boxes, that's done by the 2 employees that we're having who watch the drop boxes all day. At the early voting sites, those are also board administrators, board clerks, and they're the ones who fill out the custody logs. They put on the seals, but those are our direct employees and agents, and all the custody logs are kept, and the transfer seals are used. The transfer
but at the early voting
boxes are locked.
Right, and they're locked and sealed, and at the early voting sites, there'd be judges of election there who could observe this as well.
And poll watchers, yes.
And poll watchers. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. There are no further public comments at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Lasker, is there a need for executive session?
No, not today, Madam Chair. Thank you.
Okay. If not, then I will entertain a motion to, let's see, what the next date is. I will entertain a motion to adjourn to our next regularly scheduled meeting on October 27th. October 27th.
I'm trying to find 27 for you, Madam Chair. Sorry.
Oh, okay. 27th, 2020, or if necessary, at the call of the chair. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved by Commissioner Swain.
Is there a second?
Second by Commissioner Kresse.
It's been properly moved and seconded. All those in favor, state aye.
Commissioner Swain votes aye.
Commissioner Kresse votes aye.
Motion passes and we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, the board meeting of October 13th, 2020 has adjourned. We thank you for participating and we ask that you disconnect your lines.